The rain hit harder than I expected, cold, sharp, like punishment. My daughter clung to my hip. My son, barefoot, held onto my prot like it was life. My parents stood in the doorway, arms crossed, silent. Behind them, warm light spilled across the floor. The kitchen smelled like soup, the same soup I'd made hours earlier. Now we weren't allowed to eat it, because of him, the boy on the porch, wet, rail-thin, clutching a dented milk crate. His eyes looked older than mine. He hadn't said a word, but when I found him behind the dumpster that morning, gnawing on a frozen sandwich, I didn't think twice. I brought him home. My parents watched him eat, watched him breathe like it offended them. Then they said the words I'll never forget. If you feed strays, don't expect them to leave. And then, you can leave with him. It wasn't about the boy, not really. It was about control, about how I broke the rules, their rules. Rules that said broken people should stay out of sight. Starving kids weren't welcome under roofs paid off with pride and bitterness. They never liked how soft I was, how I raised my kids with open hands instead of clenched fists. They didn't say it out loud, but I saw it. In how they stiffened when I spoke gently, how they scoffed when I read bedtime stories, how they hated the silence after a question instead of the roar of discipline. To them, kindness was weakness, compassion, a disease. So when I opened the door to that boy, I opened a fault line they'd been waiting to crack. I found shelter 2 blocks away. A friend owed me a favor. One night on her couch turned into free. The boy didn't talk much, just watched, studied, like he'd seen too much and was still adding it up. He never asked for anything, except once he asked if I had a pencil. I gave him one. He started drawing, quietly. Lines, symbols, equations, schematics. I watched, realized he wasn't sketching. He was building something in his mind. I made a call. A friend from school who worked in private education. Sent her a picture of his drawings. She called back the next day, breathless. "Where did you find this boy?" I told her. She went quiet. Then, "You need to bring him in. He's not just smart, he's gifted. Elite gifted. MIT lab at 12 gifted." The pieces started falling, fast. The shoes he hid under the couch, Italian leather. The initials engraved on the milk crate, TH Industries, a name I'd seen in headlines. The scar on his neck, surgical, private care, not street medicine. He wasn't homeless, he was hiding. We returned 3 days later. The storm had passed, so had their sympathy. My father opened the door halfway. "You have some nerve," he spat. I nodded, handed him an envelope. Inside, a check. From Thatcher Harlow III, 6 digits, signed and stamped. My mother read it, fell back into a chair. "You remember that Milkboy?" I asked, stepping into the house uninvited. "He's not a beggar, he's the heir to a biotech empire. Went missing after his parents died in a plane crash, hid from his abusive guardians. Trusted me." They said nothing. I walked to the kitchen, poured tea. He's being adopted into a private academic program now. Full scholarship, private security, a future. Another pause. "And you? You threw him away like trash." My voice never rose. It didn't need to. They tried to apologize. Too late. I left the check on the table. But not for them to cash, just to remind them what they lost. A chance to matter, to help, to see someone and be seen in return. They asked if I wanted to move back in. I smiled. Not with warmth. No. We've outgrown this place. The boy came in behind me, polished now, clean, confident. He walked past them, said nothing, just placed a folded paper on the counter. A sketch of their house, burning, artistic, symbolic, cruel in its elegance. They didn't ask what it meant. They didn't need to. I watched the rain through our new window. The penthouse view softened it, made it seem quieter than it used to feel. My kids were asleep on a designer couch. The milk boy, Thatcher, was in the study, Drawing, always drawing. We were no longer drowning, and they were stuck in that house, full of pride, empty of purpose. They had a roof, but no legacy, no warmth, no name worth remembering. Final line. They taught me the price of kindness. Now they live with the cost of cruelty.